Hello, my stamping friends. My name is Holly Peterson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And today we are going to make this fun card. I got this inspiration from Lisa Curcio, and it is really fun. It does fold up and fit in a regular size envelope, but it has a bunch of layers and is super thick, so it would take extra postage for mailing. But let me get started and show you what we're going to do. The bundle that I'm using is the Lovely Arrangements, the dies, and the stamp set. We have a ton of paper. I've already cut the little leaves out of Old Olive with the dies. And we will be using the Moody Palette Glossy Dots for embellishments. Okay. The main card base is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. And I've already put those score lines in there. The pop-out section is basic white, 8.5 by 2.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Both of these are regular basic white, just because the card is so thick anyways. I use two-tone cardstock to make it a little bit lighter. The two-tone cardstock is a little bit lighter than our regular cardstock. And so I have 4 pieces that measure 2 by 5 3/8, and that is cloud cover. Of the Lovely Blossoms designer paper, I have 4 pieces that measure 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. For the back, we have 3 pieces of Lovely Blossoms paper that measure 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and 1 piece of basic white that measures 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. We have two pieces of two-tone cloud cover that measure 4 1/8 by 2 3/8. 2 pieces of Lovely Blossoms designer paper that measure 4 by 2 1/4. 4 by 2 1/4. We have 4 pieces of basic white that measure 4 1/4 by 1 3/8. We have 4 pieces of cloud cover two-tone cardstock that measure 4 1/8 by 1 1/4. And then 4 pieces of Lovely Blossoms that measure 4 by 1 1/8. And it looks like I'm missing my Secret Sea. Instead of basic white, you need a piece of Secret Sea that measures 3 by 3.5. Let me grab a piece of that. Okay, this is bigger than we need, but it will work. Okay. So first thing, these are just basic layering pieces, so we'll just layer all of these pieces together. And I'm using the dark side of the two-tone cardstock. And like I said, this card is pretty thick, so it will definitely take extra postage. For someone special, I don't think that's a problem, right? And you could eliminate some of these layers if you wanted to as well. I kind of liked all of the layers. My seal is having a problem here. When that happens, I like to get it started on my silicone mat, and then it behaves better. Once you get all your pieces cut for this card, it does go together pretty quick. It does take a little bit of time to do all the layering, but well worth it, I think. Okay, those layers are done. These ones go on the other white piece on this piece here, so that's why we don't have a white layer on those. I did this card for class this month, and it took me a little bit of time to cut all the layers for everybody, but it was fun. Okay, those don't go together. These go on here. And these are pretty small borders. So if you wanted to eliminate them, I would just make your, you could use your designer paper either size, however big of a border you wanted. Okay, I think that takes care of all of our layering. Let's go ahead and stamp. We have to heat emboss. So I'm going to use my Versamark ink pad. And let's use the embossing buddy. This is just a pouch that has some powder in it that helps eliminate the powder from sticking where you don't want it. want to stamp on layers of cardstock. Might make a weird line in our embossing. So we'll do Sending Smiles here. And then I need 2 of the big flowers. Then I have the Wow white embossing powder. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then our Sending Smiles. I'm just going to set this off to the side, but this does have a funnel here where you can put all this powder back in the jar. And I'm going to just step over here and emboss this real quick. Okay, and then I'm going to use the die that comes in the bundle for this one, and then it has a coordinating die for the flower. So I'm just going to step over to my cut and emboss machine. And it's really easy. There's this little point here. I find that on the flower. And so it's pretty easy to line up the flower with the die. Here's our first flower and our label. Okay, there's our 2 flowers. And then our white piece for the back, we're going to I don't remember what stamp set this little happy birthday comes from. I will look it up and post it. But I'm using Secret Sea ink. And then just up here at the top, we'll stamp happy birthday. And then from the lovely arrangements, we're going to just stamp this leaf. Grab a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to go off a little bit. And then we will stamp our envelope. Again, this is Old Olive ink. Okay, now we can just assemble all the pieces. So the main card base, the middle fold is going to be a valley. And then the other two folds are going to be mountains. And I'm just making sure that the edges line up when I fold those. So there we have the main base. These 4 panels go on there. And the adhesive just rubs off this silicone mat. It doesn't stick to it, which makes it really nice for sticky projects. Okay, this one goes in here. I'm just trying to line them up with the previous panel on the top and the bottom. Okay, we have that piece. Now this piece folds in half. Let's see. We can put these on the back, and you can decide where you want your grading layer. I think I'm going to put my grading layer here. And then these other 3 layers go on the other panels. You could leave these off if you wanted as well. We don't always decorate the back of our cards, but in this case, we decided to. Okay. These panels are going to go on this white section here. So then they match these layers here. And then before I stick this piece on here, this is going to go in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and put these on, and I'm going to line them up with the right side or the left side and the top, and we just want adhesive on this section. Actually, no, this section, sorry. So I'm going to line it up. And then just put adhesive over here. I'm still going to line it up with the top and the left side. The same with this one. We're going to line it up with the left side and the bottom. And I'm putting quite a bit of adhesive on there just to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And then these other 2 pieces will go on the other side, lined up with the right and the top and the right and the bottom. I'm just kind of using my finger as a guide so I know not to go past that section. And then, oops, did you see what I did? I put that on the wrong side. So I'll use my adhesive eraser here. So don't do what I did. These adhesive erasers are nice. They work especially good on seal. You can also tap your adhesive with your embossing buddy, and that'll take the stick out of it. I might do that anyways just to make sure that I got all this adhesive off of there. Okay. Sorry if I was shaking my camera there. I am gonna just rub my embossing buddy over that. Wipe it off on my pants. Okay. We want adhesive on the other side. So on this side. That should work better. Okay, so now it's easy to center this between, and this time we are going to put adhesive on the outside so that then it folds up like this. Make sure our flowers are going the right way. And then we're going to just line it up with the edge and make the gap in between them about the same. You could put designer paper on here. I toyed with that idea as well. But for this card, I decided to just leave it like this. Okay. I popped, no, everything. This greeting is flat. And I put it down here. I just noticed I used a different stamp. I used Hello Friend. This one I said sending smiles, so I won't have enough room to put my embellishments on the ends like I did on this one, but that's okay. And then the flowers, I did pop up with dimensionals, and I've noticed I had a vellum die cut, and I don't have that for this card. So I will either add it later or just go without on this card. So I'm just going to put 2 dimensionals kind of in the middle so that I can tuck my leaves underneath. And then we have these little leaves. Maybe I'm going to use liquid glue for those. And I did one of the set of 2 leaves and then 1 leaf for each flower. And I'm just putting glue down at the bottom. I don't mind if they have a little lift to them. Okay, I have 3 of the Secret Sea dots. So I like to use my Take Your Pick tool to get those off of the plastic. I think I'm going to put that one there. And then we'll put the other 2. This one might be too small to use my Take Your Pick tool. Like that. And there we have our I laid that right in that liquid glue that I put on my mat. Okay. There we have it. Our beautiful, beautiful birthday card. Thanks so much for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. If you've liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Bye for now.